Imagine a man who spends his whole life in the same village, the same house witnessing his birth and his old age. He does not glance at a calendar to mark his days. He knows it is spring when flowers bloom, and autumn when fruits weigh down the branches. For him, time is not measured by governments or clocks, but by nature herself. This was the spirit of the original Roman calendar, a system, attributed to Romulus, that followed the moon and the rhythms of agriculture. The Roman year began in the month of March, the season of sowing, and ended in December, the season of harvest. Winter, it was left uncounted. 2 months of cold idleness, simply blank spaces. There were 10 months. 6 had 30 days, 4 had 31, totaling 304 days. But the moon follows its own rhythm. Each lunar month is about 29.5 days, and since months began and ended with the new moon, sometimes a day was double counted. In reality, they had closer to 295 days, but they wrote down 304. The proof still lingers in the names. Quinctilis, later renamed July. Sextilis, later August. And then, September, October, November, and December. Literally the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th months. So, what about January and February? They were added by Numa Pompilius, Rome's second king, around 700 before Christ. To make the calendar complete, he added 50 days, dividing them into 2 new winter months. Each was assigned 28 days. But the Romans, deeply superstitious, feared even numbers. So, 1 day was added to January, making it 29. February remained 28, a month of purification. Now, every month had an odd number of days. It was elegant. But it wasn't aligned with nature. The lunar cycle is 29.5 days. The solar year? Around 365 and 1/4. That's an 11-day gap. Without correction, the calendar would drift. Seasons and festivals would go out of sync, and history proves it did. A total solar eclipse seen in Rome on the 14th of March, 190 before Christ, was officially recorded as the 11th of July. Another in Greece, 21st of June, 168 before Christ, recorded as the 3rd of September. Why? Because intercalation, the act of inserting extra days, was often delayed or ignored. The priests who managed the calendar, the pontiffs, feared it as a bad omen. And during wars, they avoided it altogether. Worse, the calendar became a political tool. In 59, before Christ, Bibulus, co-consul with Julius Caesar, declared all remaining days as holidays, a move to stall his rival's laws. Originally, March marked the year's beginning, but in 153, before Christ, the start of the year was shifted to January, again, for political convenience. By the time Julius Caesar came to power in 46 before Christ, the calendar was nearly 3 months behind the actual seasons. Festivals were being celebrated before the crops had even grown. With the help of the Alexandrian astronomer Sosigenes, Caesar undertook a complete reform. He added 90 missing days, turning that year into 445 days. History remembers it as the last year of confusion. Here's how they corrected the system. 27 intercalary days were added after the 24th of February. The last 4 days of that month were suppressed. 2 more intercalary months, one with 33 days, the other with 34, were inserted between November and December. Other months were adjusted to new totals. January, Sextilis, and December now had 31 days. April, June, September, and November had 30. The new Julian calendar had approximately 365 days. Winter, January, February, and March, 90 days. Spring, April, May, and June, 91 days. Summer, July, August, and September, 92 days. Autumn, October, November, and December, 92 days. Solstices and equinoxes were marked. Winter solstice, December 25th. Vernal equinox, March 25th. Summer solstice, June 24th. Autumn equinox, September 24th. And the year officially began on the 1st of January, 45 before Christ. But the reform wasn't over. After Julius Caesar's assassination in 44 before Christ, there was confusion in applying the leap year rule. The Roman priests misunderstood Caesar's instruction and inserted a leap day every 3 years instead of every 4. This caused the calendar to accumulate too many days, once again pushing it out of alignment with the seasons. So, in 8, before Christ, Emperor Augustus intervened. He paused leap years for the next 12 years to correct the drift and bring the calendar back on track. In his honor, the month of Sextilis, the 6th month, was renamed August, and since July, named after Julius, had 31 days, Augustus made sure his month matched it, by extending August to 31 days as well. To accommodate this change, February lost a day, solidifying its position as the shortest month. Thus, the calendar that we know today, with alternating months of 30 and 31 days, began to take its familiar form under the influence of 2 emperors, Julius and Augustus. But even this system had a flaw. The solar year is not 365.25. It's 365.2422. That's 11 minutes too long. And over time it adds up. By the 1500s, the vernal equinox had shifted by 10 days. Easter, a festival tied to the equinox, was being celebrated too early. So in 1582, Pope Gregory XIII dropped 10 days from the calendar. The 4th of October was followed by the 15th. To avoid future drift, he also adjusted the leap year rule. Years divisible by 4 are leap years, except for century years, unless divisible by 400. So, 1600 and 2000 were leap years. 1700, 1800, and 1900 were not. This Gregorian calendar, the one you and I follow today, became the global standard. Yet in older records, historians still refer to Republican or Julian dates for accuracy. England, Ireland, and their colonies adopted it only in 1752. That year, the 2nd of September was followed by the 14th. 11 days. Gone. Now, what does this AD and BC really mean? AD means Anno Domini, a Latin phrase which translates to in the year of our Lord. Here, Lord refers to the Christian mythological figure, Jesus Christ, who is believed to have risen from death. Sometime in the past, a Christian monk named Dionysius, while trying to calculate the date for Easter, declared the current year, the year he lived in, to be 525 years after the incarnation of Christ. How he arrived at that exact number remains a mystery. From this same system, the term BC was introduced, meaning before Christ. Today, this system is widely accepted. But in order to sound secular, the terms were renamed. AD became CE, the Common Era. BC became BCE, before the Common Era. But let us not be mistaken. Only the names have changed. The foundation remains the same, the mythology of Christian belief. It does not reflect natural or astronomical events. It holds no universal historical milestone. It is a cultural construct, not a global, not a scientific consensus. And yet, this construct has become the basis for how we all mark time.